Wait, I actually did think about it with Vaughn and Box.
I fixed it, accidentally muted it. Okay,
You're
we're
back.
back for the pre-show, for real. And I'm here with two of the losers who didn't make playoffs. And you know what? I lost all my energy drop. Let's talk about EKC.
Okay, so, you see, as Saya said, muted, EKC has beaten BUNN for about 20 million times now. And 20 million and one might be a pretty big number for EKC to hit. However, I don't think EKC is going to do it because I have insider information from approximately 2 a.m. last night that Soren's going to own goal this game at least once. And NXED is not going to be happy about it, but I don't know. That's what I'm feeling. So I think BUNN, they're looking good. BUNN always wants to win. EKC, I can't tell. So, what about you, Fred? What do you think about this little matchup we got going?
I think you have to look at the facts. Regular season, EKC and BUNN's never really been in BUNN's favor. Playoffs even, in Season 3, I believe, it was just kind of an EKC sweep. However, Liari has been in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. She looks like a totally different player now, like first half of the season versus second half of the season. All it took was her motherboard getting fried, and that was it. Like, she's locked in now. And then you got Scyther 12. The 12 stands for, like, 12 Dropletos.
Yeah, which is a pretty big, very big in the OS power scaling, by the way.
Yeah, so. But as I said before, facts show that EKC is going to win this. I'm kind of in the middle of it. I'm not entirely sure who's going to win, but I'd probably put my money on EKC just to kind of, hedge my bets.
Boo. Okay. Anyways, what do you think, Saya?
You guys are so boring.
Okay,
what do you mean we're boring?
What am I supposed to do? I do go on a pre-show a lot.
We're in the car, and suddenly, we're going to be on the pre-show. All right, well, Bessie and Slot sponsored by Domino's, I guess. Like,
Imagine.
I mean, hey, Domino's, if you're
Please, dude. Like, guys, look, I own a Domino's flag. Who owns a Domino's flag? Well, if anyone has any coupons, well, they already give me coupons. If anyone has any gift cards, send them my way, and you'll make me very happy and fed. Two very good things. But yeah, I'm all in on BUNN. I'm probably gonna lose all my bestie bucks today if they lose. But
well, all right. So there is a small presence of Dubu in NASL, and most of the times that Lilybun has played Dubu, she has just looked absolutely incredible on the pick. I think it's like a 66% win rate and then like an 11% kind of presence. Yeah. So I think that nobody else really plays Dubu, at least from what I've seen, kind of in this season. So if she pulls it out, it's a very unorthodox pick, and I'm not entirely sure, how EKC is going to handle it. Damage meta, EKC likes damage, but they don't like the damage meta because it kind of takes their niche and broadens it. But BUNN plays really well into damage, as we saw against Dubu.
True, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, the Dubu, if I remember correctly, only started coming out after the Brawler patch, right? So maybe Dubu has actually been the answer to killing damage all along. And if there's one team that really doesn't want damage to be killed, it's going to be EKC, which is another point towards BUNN Bonanza. Yes! I mean, I just need to see Soren lose.
All right. Well, the teams are ready already, so
yeah.
All this setup for this short of a pre-show, I guess.
W pre-show. There you go.
W pre-show. And since the casters can't hear us, I do a visual countdown. So 3, 2.
They got it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tiebreakers for NASL Season 6. Today we are joined by EKC and BUNN Bonanza. Going to be a heck of a game. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, look at that.
I'm looking forward to the entire series. I mean, both of these teams have been playing incredible throughout the season as well. They're both very deserving to be tied in second place right now, and they're going head-to-head now to prove that they're the team that actually do deserve the second seed and don't go to that third position. Now, both of them already started on winner's side, which is very great for them, obviously, but there's just a little bit of that benefit, right, of being that team that is sitting at 2 over sitting at 3. So exciting matchup, exciting players all around, and honestly just very exciting to start going into playoff season as well for this NASL season.
Yeah, it has been a pretty tight season here all around. Was the 4-way tie for second. I mean, some head-to-heads in there, but just in pure game score, that alone is mind-blowing. So there will be another tiebreaker as well. Not today. I believe they'll be tomorrow evening, Eastern time. Don't know the European time on that one. You'll have to ask Sloth on that one. But going to be a whole lot leading up. Before we even get to the playoffs, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff going on, a whole lot of fun things. But also, speaking of fun things, if we get to Game 3 here, Gates of Obscura, I'm hoping for it. Before that, we got to get through Atlab and Night Market. Good maps, fine maps, nothing wrong with them. And these teams know these maps very well, so we're going to see a lot of mechanical play on it. But there's just something about Gates of Obscura that calls to me.
Yeah, very fun map for sure. And I feel like that's generally the map pool as well, right? It allows for a lot of fun and new strategies and picks, but obviously we're still looking at competitive OS here. You gotta just put the Atlab and the Night Market in the bag, you know. Play through it. We'll see how they're gonna plan it out, as we have an Atlab as our first game with Orb Replicator and Spark of Strength. So very snowbally with the sparks, a lot of damage on the baseline as well. And looking at the characters that have been drafted all around, it's a healthy mix of we want to go and take you out of the map, and we just want to take control of the core and outplay you as much as possible.
Yeah, a lot of Spark of Strength, though, all around, so I think there's going to be a lot of damage. Piercing Shot, Clog as well. The Dash Punch, though, from Scyther gets 2 barriers right off the start. Doesn't quite get the final connection into the goal with the punch, unfortunately, for BUNN. But they do have that lead, still having 1 barrier when all is said and done. Cyberstrike doesn't get the core. The dribble is phenomenal. The flurry, though, doesn't get it. LilyBunn playing all the way up on this Dubu in the enemy goal box, not able to get it through. Rushing, try and get to the core. Will it hit? It will get the barrier, and that is going to be goals open both sides here. Not even 30 seconds in just yet. And the teams are dueling. Scyther is almost dead. Soren with the glitch pop, self-pass there as well. Piercing Shot nicely defended against by LilyBunn. The Ivy turret comes out as well and fouls this away clear that we already was attempting. And that is going to be Scyther being first blood over to Soren, who picks up the core, rotates it up to the top, and is just trying to get it over to Katsuna with the core. Rosewolf doesn't even need the core flip, is just going to go for a nice dribble and strike into goal. Despite their goal being open first, EKC are the ones to score the first goal.
Yeah, defensively held on to that point, did a really good job to not get scored on themselves, got the barriers out, and found their way past the defense from BUNN in the end. But as it stands right now, a lot of damage again being dumped back and forth. The Scyther 12 almost dead again. Both barriers down again. It could be a repeat point of the last one. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, LilyBunn once again playing all the way up with the Duke wall as well, but that firewall sentry is really nice. Scyther doesn't quite get the connection, gets bounced away by the core flip, but that is core flip down. 1 barrier now still standing for BUNN. Scyther once again going down into the enemy goal this time instead of off the side. And really nice find by Katsuna, gets it into the corner. It's so difficult to clear it around. Soren playing up as well, has the core flip. Might need to use it with the cyber strike into strike. Teleports back up to the top, making good use of the eject button. NXT trying to go for a dribble, interrupted by a slime. Already passes down to Scyther. Scyther in the corner. Core flip available on the slime, but is actually going to get stunned away. Soren able to get the clear in the end. NXT very low on health, and it's going to pass through him to Scyther. And Scyther goes all the way through into the goal. 3 seconds left on the point, a little bit longer. And tying up the score is the Bonanza.
Yeah, really well executed, finding these angles, finding the play to get past that strong defense from EKC, and BUNN obviously wanting to look to continue on this momentum as well, but barriers are down pretty fast again, as they don't really seem to be defended incredibly well. Both teams just having really strong setups going into each other. Katsuna does have a flip, so might want to try to use that as an offensive play here, but as of right now, the other barriers going down again. We're on 2 open goals yet again.
Yeah, core flip down to the corner. NXT picks it up. The log does not get it out, or should I say the dog with the skin. Scyther has the core flip in the corner, but is going to get sent away from it. That's going to be Rasmus going off map. This is the power play. The opportunity. The core flip comes out down to the bottom. And Scyther finds the angle. Really nicely done to get the steep shot between Katsuna and Soren. Not an easy one to find, but in the moment, sees the angle, takes the shot, and does get a goal. BUNN, 2 goals in a row. 1 more will complete the set and put him in a nice position going forward.
Yeah, most definitely. They also, I want to point out, there's a lot of damage, surprisingly enough. I didn't think Spark of Strength alone would be so, like, efficient already, but HP bars are just flying consistently. Obviously, both of these teams incredibly proficient when it comes to a damage playstyle, and you can see that very much here in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Spark of Strength is one of those sparks that's just so good to pick up on its own. I'd say probably that one in the cooldown are so nice. Speed is also a contender, but it is only 6%, so compared to other Awakenings, not as good. Great dash from Scyther, though, with the slime setup does get it through. The flurry comes out as well. Will this be it? It will! Nicely found in the corner. Soren, despite the Firewall Sentry, doing all he can, but it's not enough. But yeah, Sparkle Strength is just a goated one to pick up on its own. So it kind of scales 4 ways with all of your abilities, so it is really nice. No Spark in the first draft, though, means no pickup for the Julian map.
Which is kind of nice, though, because Scyther 12 actually went with the Orb Replicator for the start, so you didn't really want to see a Spark if you're on the side of BUNN, because you can't really be... You don't really want those on Julie, you want them on your teammates. So, other than that, though, you have a lot of still damage in the draft as a whole, right? You have Deadeye, Explosive Entrance for Rasmus. It's just 2 really strong damage pickups for the side of EKC that they can be playing with and they can be snowballing off of. The team player for Liari is going to help quite a bit with accelerating the play, as a Twin Drive for Lilybun is going to help a lot with defense. And not to underestimate either, Prize Fighter on Julie can get very, very, very strong if you do let Scyther 12 find these KOs.
Yeah, no KO found just yet, though, although NXED is looking very low. The dog dodged away. The slime gets this corner barrier from the corner in the top, but NXED finds one on the other side. Scyther shutting up the kill, misses the dash punch. Good evasion there by NXED, just moving to the side. Going for the dribble with the secondary and the piercing shot. Pendulum swing combo there. The Rastel coming out clutch and taking another first goal. But again, EKC was here last time before BUNN took 3 goals in a row. So they'll have to keep it up and not let that happen once again.
Yeah, most definitely. The proficiency, right, of Estelle Rasmus just really showing there. Being able to just disrupt Lilybun's defense completely. Not really much she can do about that at that point, as again, both barriers do drop pretty swiftly, and NXCD immediately with a nice death touch just takes that core and puts it right in. EKC coming back with a statement into the second set, already leading 2-0, and I feel like we haven't even seen more than a minute of gameplay so far.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird not seeing overtime matches, especially on AtLab, because it's so open, it sometimes takes some time, and there's a lot of interference in the midfield, but both teams have been so rock solid in their offense that not really losing control as much, only passing on the end zones in the middle where a lot of that time is wasted. Let's drop those really interceptions I'm talking about. That Duke goes off the side, man. Side match ball, the barrier there. Nari doesn't connect and puts it through without even the core weapon. Just as I was saying, that easy to pick things up immediately is like a set.
Yeah, and they do get the steps. They do have opportunities to choose from here, right? And you do have spark of leadership, which is interesting because always leadership can stumble pretty heavily as well. That's the case. Obviously, Rasmus to be a big project to be the leadership now fall down to Lilybun. The awesome choice. As you really throw it, coming with extra special, we probably are, and also one punch and adrenaline rush pickup for EKC is going to help and accelerate the KO gameplay even more. So I feel like EKC incredibly happy with what they're walking away from here, away with here in this draft, while the Sparks can pose a potential threat further down the line.
Yeah, a little bit of roboting during the draft there, it does appear, but 2 barriers going down here. The Sparks not quite making a difference just yet, and some beautiful... VKC does a complete circle of the map. Really brilliantly done there. Not even with team player, that wasn't team player or anything, it was just regular core speed, and EKC found the perfect passes to smoothly curve it around the entire map. You'll love to see that. Scyther 12 catching the rebound there with the flurry, but it's not going to quite lead to anything just yet. But Liari does get the intercept on the side, so no bears going down. Great Death's Touch, gets 1 bear in the bottom. Scyther 12 getting cyber swiped and piercing shot, does manage to get 1 dash punch to get the orb with the orb replicator is actually kind of nice. Boosting energy of the team as well. Liari just jumping right over Katsuna with the secondary, the flying Blobbo as it were. Scyther 12 getting in the corner with the help of these slimes from Liari. NXT going for the dribble on the bottom with the whip lash, but it's intercepted by the somersault from Lilybun. Turning over the back pass over to Soren, gets it up to the top with the cyber swipe as well. The kill onto the Dubu set up by a core flip into pendulum swing, really nice to see. The Rose Orb interrupts Scyther 12 as well, but the kill flip combo really nicely done. Scyther 12 picking up 1 more kill and another stack on the prize fighter. Liari going for the dribble with the slimes, trying to get it through, but that one slime is not going to be enough to get through Soren, who's buying a lot of time until Katsuna's back on the field. The punch dribble up the top, but the firewall sentry gets it. The clear. Lilybun trying to pass through NXCD. Death Touch covers it, but actually passes back to the bottom corner here. Goes around with the Sad Boys angle, unfortunately, and that's actually going to be Liari picking up, or not Liari, Scyther picking up the kill, or picking up the goal at the cost of a kill to EKC. Excuse me. That just accelerated out of nowhere. But Bun Bun Bonanza tying up, and Soren getting a little tied up as well. The Cyber Swipe not getting the connection. Did trip up the draft. No barriers going down just yet, though.
Yeah, but the aggression is still very much there. You can see it as well. Lilybun likes to play that aggressive Dubu, likes to walk up like that, and it can have so much value if it works out, but it could also go so south. As she does drop one barrier there. EKC back on the attack here, trying to find their way to the second barrier as well, but they can't really set themselves up. Again, Lilybun having such a aggressive position on Dubu doesn't make it easy to find a way out. Inside their 12 for Liari, holding this attack so well as well, not giving any really safe and easy angle to be playing with as Soren tries to dash up and get the score out there, but no, he just can't. The pressure from Cypher 12 just ended up being too much. The abilities were just layered so perfectly that he couldn't really get the core out, and that's just really, really nice execution there from the side of BUNN.
Yeah, a very, very savable goal there. I mean, you have a Julie in front of your face with the flurry slimes all around as well, but what's much more savable is if they don't have a forward to speak of. Nice pickup there by NXCD, taking all of the prize fighter stacks off of this Julie very quickly from 2 stacks to 0. Somersault, though, is perfectly executed. Lilybun as well buying a lot of time with the somersault there. Scyther 12 back on the field now, going for a nice dribble along the bottom of the dash punch through Soren. Beautiful pickup on that, and one more goal will restore the prize fighter stacks there. Flurry catches it, nicely executed by Scyther. Just a slight move up to not catch the core so he can pick it up off the back end of the flurry. And another 3-1 set here, BUNN picking up 2 of those. I mean, EKC was looking phenomenal last set with the 3-0 sweep, but into another 1-3. Unfortunately, though, I don't think this Juno will be getting hot shot.
It would be close to a miracle if the hotshot falls all the way down there. That is true. We do have the Agility Spark up for grabs here, and that's going to be taken away before Lilybun gets her hands on it. Obviously, triple sparks with leadership. You're not going to give that for free. So NXT picking it up for himself. Double sparks on this Rasmus now. Focus the last one in draft, and hotshot does fall down to Liari. Now, I can kind of see why, right? You do want the Super Surge for Soren's going to help again with that KO game plan that you have. Amy is going to be so much more lethal and also going to be able to apply a lot more pressure with the range that comes with it. Now, would I necessarily give Hotshot for it? I'm not confident, but looking at how the point is being played out currently, I think it was worth it.
Yeah, definitely a risky play on that one. If you get the kills with that Ad Rush Super Surge on Soren, it's so much more worth than Hotshot. But you have to get those, and so far, so good. Liari not really getting a chance to make use of the hotshot either. Katsuna taking a little bit of friendly fire from Soren's Black Hole dribble. Glitchop gets it along the bottom. The Cyber Swipe as well, with all that range, is going forward. Overstayed a little bit. Soren's got to do the Walk of Shame back. And never mind, he's going to go for a Glitch Pop self-pass from Core Flip play there. Not sure if that was the intended one. I think he wanted to get the Glitch Pop on the other side of it. And that's going to be a barrier falling on the other side. The piercing shot. The Slime wins the Strike War, but Soren is there to cover the last bit of the goal. The Cyber Swipe gets it to the goal, but Liari has the goalie's back. Not going to let it just roll in there. Glitchop comes out as well. Cybertrop going to the bottom. Glitchop Slimes coming out all over the place. The Whiplash forward, the Cyber Swipe as well. Death Touch just catches Scyther, trying to get him a little out of position, stun him up so he can't win Strike Wars. Katsuna Rose Warps it up, almost gets it up there, and in the end, a nice play. Trips up the Dubu, breaks the ankle, so to speak, when he somersaults to the bottom. The Rose Warp catches it up, and NXCD is the one to finish that play, but that was very back and forth in the middle of it.
Yeah, don't think that was necessarily the intended play, but I don't think EKC is complaining either, right? You get the goal, and that's what you were looking for there. You have the point advantage now going into the set. The energy is also pretty even across the board with a slight edge to EKC, and they immediately use that flip there as well from NXT to get the second barrier out as well. Liari uses hers to just try to stay alive, but the pressure is not letting up in any way, shape, or form. As now BUNN are trying to convert this into an attack, but it gets increasingly more difficult. Scyther 12, with a beautiful KO, can get themselves a power play. We'll see if they can do more with it.
Yeah, but still only one stack on that prize fighter. Not really getting a ton of value out of it. The Firewall Sentry and Death Punch is nice just to prevent any kind of setup, and now the goalie has to run back to Lilybun trying to get there. And again, Liari is there to protect the open goal. Julie, once again, back on 0 stacks. Nicely found. NXT has really been clutch with these pendulum swings. Core flip is used by the Dubu. Burns a lot of time with it as well. Kitsuna baited the piercing shot out in that one. Really nicely done by Lilybun. They're trying to pass is EKC. They're trying to get it through, but it's not quite enough. They're getting the passing play, though. Crystal Thorns and NXCD is the one to hit that last little bit through the Dubu. And EKC has 2 points so far. They've either been 1-3 or 3-0, so we could see another 3-0 here.
That's definitely a trend they want to keep up, as one barrier does drop to a rogue Juno slime, though. The second one's still being held on by Soren, as they're trying to get it out of their own half, but Gresham from BUNN seems to be a little bit too strong. They find a beautiful angle there actually to take that barrier as well, as now the attack has not slowed down, and Scyther 12 with a nice angle just gets it barely outside of Soren's reach. Not anything Soren can do, as his glitch pop was on cooldown at that point, and BUNN breaking the pattern, taking a goal and not allowing another 3-0.
No 3-0 here, and no 3-1 either, so it is the first time uncharted territory for this match today. Liari almost getting the save on the barrier, but at least does prevent any kind of double and diffuses the offense from the other side. Soren getting past to the eject button is going to teleport back. Scyther not getting a connection on that dash punch, unfortunately for him, and it's going to be the Firewall Sentry into the Tofu Fortress. We've seen that a few times, buys a lot of time. Black Hole kills NXCD, but he does have that recovery drone for now. That is off the field. A kill flip from Kitsuna, nicely found as well. Scyther 12 very low. Not getting a kill flip is Soren. Cyber Swipe as well, not enough. A lot of abilities actually used onto this Julie. The Julie is, of course, very low. Death Touch as well invested, but that's so many abilities for nothing. There is no kill. Julie's out of position at the very least, but is still on the field, and so many abilities just continuously being used. There's another one with the Pendulum Swing a while ago. There's the Glitch Pop, but now Scyther 12 no longer staggered. The Slime gets it forward with that hot shot speed, and a lot of time has been bought. The later this goes, I think the more it favors the Juno, as we see a lot of core speed coming out, and the Flying Blobbo once again jumping forward, sending it forward, and it's a 2-2 tie here for BUNN Bonanza.
And what a point from Lilybun there, holding on to that defense to a seemingly like impossible situation, using all the abilities perfectly and not letting go of that defense, allowing Scyther 12 to also miraculously stay alive for as long as he did, to allow Liari to come back on the field. And now immediately they're starting it off again with a double barrier. They want to end the game here and as soon as they can.
Great core flip as well from Lilybun, prevents that barrier from being taken, and that is a massive buff just to have that peace of mind knowing if the goal is not open. You have room for one more mistake at a minimum, and that just it lets you play so much more aggressively and so much more freely. They are going forward with the Slimes, also has that core fill. We're going to be paying attention to that one. Here it comes out, goes up to the top, and that is a goal to secure game 1 for BUNN Bonanza. EKC taking a lot of leads. I think every first point in each set was scored by EKC, but they just were not able to finish the sets except for the one time they got that 3-0.
Yeah, really well executed from the side of BUNN there. I feel like they also had a lot, the Juno pick also incredibly valuable this game, because both Estelle and Amy, they don't really have a great time trying to core control against a Juno. Amy into Juno is like, in my personal opinion, an almost impossible matchup to play. And Estelle doesn't have necessarily all the perfect like utilities and abilities to assist there. So I feel like the good execution from BUNN together with Juno just being so difficult to deal with was what made it a little bit too difficult for EKC to play out this game in the end, and gave BUNN the win. And not to mention also Scyther 12 up front, 7 goals, 1 assist, just being an absolute menace whenever they got to close range.
Yeah, I mean, EKC played a comp that needed to be played flawlessly. They had a lot of forward power. If they played on the other side of the map, I mean, Restel Aimi is a comp that works really well if you can keep it on the other side of the map, if you allow the Aimi to play as a skirmisher without having to defend. But as soon as you lose control of the core, that Aimi on the defense is so much weaker. Not weak, still pretty strong, but so much weaker than on the offense. And consistently, BUNN Bonanza were able to diffuse those situations, get the core across the field, force the Aimi into burning abilities defensively. Soren played the defense really well. So many things were saved so close. The Firewall Sentries bought so much time. But if you use that Firewall Sentry on the defense, you can't use it to secure a goal or a barrier on the other side. So throughout the entire time, Lilybun was sitting there on the Dubu, even playing super far up at times, because they had the defense. Liari was able to pivot backwards repeatedly whenever Lilybun overextended, or sometimes not even overextended, knowing and trusting that the team is able to watch her back. Lilybun's able to run forward on the Dubu, knowing that there is that Juno to catch, is another way of looking at that. So I think ultimately Bun Bun Bonanza just played a much more safe comp in a way where they had the opportunity to lose control. They had the opportunity to be on the back foot a little more, so they didn't mind as much. And if you're trading 1-for-1 on that, the offensive comp needs to be trading more than 1-for-1 to keep up their aggression, to keep up their control, to actually execute the comp. And unfortunately, EKC just weren't able to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned it yourself as well, right? Lilybun was on the Dubu. Lilybun, an extremely good player on that character as well. So even if you somehow get it past the midfield area of Liari, of that Juno, you're going up against a lockdown goalie that just kind of holds the core. That'll just hold on to that defense. And in the end, it ended up being a bit too much, but that is just the first game, right? Obviously, it's not over yet for EKC. You do lose the Bun Bun map pick, but you're going into your own map pick now, that one being Night Market. So curious to see if there's maybe going to be a bit of an adjustment to what they're prioritizing in draft. Maybe take out the Juno as a whole, right? It's an incredibly strong pick for Liari. We've seen that now. And if Soren likes playing aggressive goalie picks, Juno usually pretty good into those picks, so you might want to consider taking him off the map. And we have a hotshot start even, which I feel like might even be another argument to take the Juno away, either ban it or pick it yourself.
Yeah, definitely one of the plays to consider there. Also, interestingly enough, EKC on blue side. I believe you said it was the EKC map pick on this one, so getting blue side pick on their own map. That's a bit of an unconventional pick there, but EKC is blue side, so they do have the opportunity to deny the hotshot. The other thing, though, that strikes me is Era's Kitten Club was very much Era's Killing Club that game. They really got so many KOs, and now we're going from Atlab, which is kind of half KO, to Night Market, which is basically full KO. So there is so much more potential to make use of those kills and to make those kills happen. So if that's what they're more comfortable on, this might be a complete reversal. And of course, Era's Kitten Club, no stranger to that when they hit us with the 3-0 sweep in that one set. So they are used to reversing things on the fly. They're not really cowed by defeat. They're not just going to let the mental get to them. They're not going to, just go quietly. They are going to fight back, and I think we're going to see probably a lot of aggression from them in this fight, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, most definitely. And just generally also a very aggressive match, a very fast-paced match, because you have Prime Time on one hand, which just gives you more abilities, more ways to interact with the core, and Hotshot, obviously, I don't think I need to explain how Hotshot necessarily makes a game faster, obviously making almost it feels like half the abilities in the roster go red core, just because of that one ability. But the teams both have started their draft. The Estelle is the ban for EKC, so yes, as I would have thought so. The Juno is going to be the pick for EKC. They're not giving these two, one of these two really, really strong midfielders with Hotshot over to the side of Bun Bun. Bun Bun answering with an Era ban of their own. Also, really strong character with a Prime Time together, just making sure that enemy brawler barely gets to play the game. Luna, though, also still a very valid pickup for the side of Bun Bun. Luna with Hotshot does similar things to Estelle. The dash together with Hotshot and even the missiles themselves, they just create so much core speed. They just create so much control. It's a lot more difficult to execute properly compared to an Estelle, but obviously we're talking about the top level of NASL here, and I don't think that's necessarily going to be an issue for either of these teams.
Yeah, especially as a shameless Luna one trick this season, because she's completely busted. The hotshot pickup, there is a case to be made for Primetime, getting those extra rockets is nice, especially if that's a Luna goalie, and you just want to keep people staggered, and you just want to have the ability to have the extra ability to pick up that time so that they don't get the time to heal. But if it's not hotshot, I will be surprised, because it is so powerful on that Luna. Every single ability feels like it goes red core instantly. And even your ultimate is almost guaranteed to hit the core. So if you think about it as just a free, 13% cooldown reduction on your ultimate as Luna, I would take that any day just on its own. So let alone the extra core speed on other abilities and everything is a very powerful pickup there. So I definitely agree with the Luna pick here. We also see the complete comp now for EKC is going to be Juno, Aimee, Juliet. And I think it's a fairly similar comp to what they played last time. But I think with the addition of that Juno, there is a lot of room for them to catch cores and catch rebounds and be a little more stable on the map.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm also very curious to see the Julie pick. Obviously, Julie, an incredibly strong character on a map like Night Market, and I mean, we're talking about NXCD Julie here, right? An incredibly strong and proficient player on that pick, which means the side of BUNN needs to be so much more careful around the edges, not to get caught off guard and just be taken off the map for free. You do have Scyther 12 on the Drakkar, which can do similar things, right? Drakkar also finding its way into like these edge KOs quite often and being very proficient at executing them as well. And he doesn't even need to do all of the damage himself because you have a Luna and now a Vice backing you. Both of these also incredible characters to just dump damage and make HP bars low. So all Scyther 12 will have to do is confirm the KOs. And with Shotgun, with Molten Bolt, and all of that combined, he's going to be very strong at doing so. So I feel like this game is going to mainly revolve around like the fast gameplay in the first place, right? With Hotshot, all of these characters being really good at using it, and also making sure that you're not the first team to be found near the edge and taken out.
Yeah. Another thing as well on that Drakkar pick, Stinger is in the map pool, and I feel like every time Stinger's in the map pool, Drakkar goes from whatever rank he is, could be C tier, all the way up to S tier. He's just so good at using the ability, it feels like he's the best one in the roster most of the time. That Stinger Drakkar just feels like just a match made to destroy teams, to really stack up so much damage on them. And maybe I'm just yapping on that, but it feels that way whenever I encounter him in my solo queue games. So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, we will definitely see how it's going to turn out. And I feel like this could be another one of those games where winning the first set can just be so match deciding. Because if you find yourself a heavy impact, if you find yourself an adrenaline rush or anything close to it in that first Awakening draft, you can just almost immediately run away with the game as a whole. So both of these teams going to have to put a lot of priority in making sure that this first set goes their ways, and BUNN immediately starting off with exactly that.
Yeah, a absolute blitz to take both barriers in 4 seconds there. Also important, every single player in the game does have Hotshot. Does make sense, you're talking about earlier. Great dribble there from Scyther, even keeping the angle of the core into the goal so that it keeps all of that speed from the Hotshot. But as you're talking about earlier, the red cores are going to be insane this game. That was a 15-second point. So incredible to see Molten Bolt also going across the core and 2 people there. Liari hitting a drive-by with the Luna there, really nicely done. They do lose 1 bear on the backside, so EKC is fighting back. But can they actually defend this? So far, the answer is yes.
So far, they're holding on to the point, but the pressure is not slowing down. Scyther 12 has taken a lot of damage, so that could be an avenue to pursue, right? Get NXCD on top of this Drakkar, maybe try to find a way to KO him, and they do just try that, as Soren takes a lot of damage on his own there as well. The attack now starting in NXCD, finding the power play now for the side of EKC. You do want to play through that as good as you can. You get a barrier, Flip almost going for the nice angle there off the middle, but not finding its target, but surely you still find the point here. No, the defense holds up, but the dash punch is what finishes the job in the end.
In the end, that dash punch on Juliet, if Juliet gets the setup, is just so powerful and so difficult to defend against. A lot easier with the tools in Vice's kit, because you can hit the Juliet with the primary, hit the core with the primary, and still hit the Juliet. So there is some counterplay to it, but if you get the setup and there is no Vice or there are no abilities, then it's really nice. Almost getting a dash punch as well there, used the flurry, and actually gets killed in return. Unfortunate for Scyther that tried to get the kill, but got KO'd instead. And Soren almost does get the kill on the Drakkar at least, so does get the mental there of at least killing the enemy brawler, but does trade a goal for it, and unfortunately, I think Scyther 12 is perfectly happy with that trade.
Yeah, most definitely. You want to get that point, and now you're one away from winning this first set, right? One away from getting that first kind of shot at getting these powerful awakenings that are currently in the rotation. But again, EKC has something to say about it as they take 2 barriers almost immediately there and are going on the defense. Now, Flip has to come out from Soren, but Scyther 12 with a beautiful shotgun will shut down that clear. Liari's Flip barely missing there as well. As now NXCD and Katsuna are trying to find that core control, but no, in the end, it seems to be that BUNN just has a bit of an easier time getting the core up, and they get a barrier, they get the goal open now. Flip has to come out from Katsuna, and it doesn't really get the value that it wants. It just kind of clears the core, but you would ultimately want to try to score with it as well. So the back and forth is going to begin now. 2 open goals with Hotshot can be quite funky. We'll see who's going to handle it better.
Yeah, as a goalie main, my heart is racing right now with that hot shot and the open goals in the game. Basically, one wrong move, one pixel out of position, and it ends just like that. Liari going down doesn't hit the dash hit with that, so no hot shot proc. But does get a drive-by, which is pretty nice. Soren trying to keep it in this corner that Scyther 12 can't get the confirm when it goes across. And the Luna ult also coming, doesn't hit the core, doesn't get the reset, but does get a little bit of damage there. The Vice ult does come out. In the end, it's actually Liari's strike that gets it through. Kitsuna a little bit late on the strike, unfortunately. Not expecting the overtime speed, I would guess, as we have another 1-3 EKC seemingly somewhat cursed with these points.
Yeah, most definitely. And the punishment for losing that set is now you're going to have to deal with very likely a Deadeye Luna. We'll see if maybe Liari also opts for something else. No, the Deadeye Luna is going to come through, and that's going to deal so much damage. It's going to make it so much more difficult to play. 1-2 Punch also finding its way onto Scyther, which now creates this Drakkar situation where you can just solo kill on edges as well if you find yourself in the right positions. So I feel like the side of BUNN here incredibly happy with what they're picking up, while the side of EKC are just kind of taking the leftovers. I also want to highlight really quick the gear choices. NXCD on the pummelers, right? Looking for those KOs, but if you can't get those power plays going, it's just not really a great gear for you to keep you playing on. The other hand, on the other side, plays double max ult, and I feel like that's what he can be seeing as well during the execution of the game. BUNN seems to be everywhere where they need to be, and that's mainly because Scyther 12 and Liari are playing so well across that midfield line and just making use of those speed boosts so efficiently.
But there is the Pummeler's proc. Does take a lot of health on the back end of the tray, but NXCD is a lot faster for the next 7 seconds here. 2 barriers do go down, open goals on both sides. Yet again, Cyberswipe Glitch Pop does come out, but unfortunately doesn't get the angle into the goal, doesn't get quite the setup for it either. Firewall Sentry, Slimes as well. The punch comes out, but in the end, it is going to be that Vice Primary that gets the clear. Pass up to Liari with the ult as well to stop a strike ward going backwards there. BUNN sending it upwards with the primary as well. Scyther 12 trying to stay alive in the middle of the field, but does get hit by a flurry. That is another Pummeler's proc here. That's going to be Luna going off, and it's a 1 versus 3. Can BUNN do it? There is a chance with this hot shot, but it's actually going to go in the end for EKC. It was a little scary when we had the slime from Kitsuna going there, sending it right back to the Vice. But it was just a setup for the team to just pile everything on, no chances of anything getting out, and yet again, EKC takes that first point.
They do find the first point, but the first barrier goes to BUNN. Soren had to use the flip in that last point as well, and now actually NXCD taken off clean by Liari. A really good combo there to get the KO, as now BUNN are trying to get a power play going there, extending it as well with a beautiful KO from Scyther 12. That's a flip gun as well that he can't be dealing with anymore, and a nice passing play. Nothing Soren can really do about that defensively as LilyBunn takes the goal.
Yeah, LilyBunn, I'm just going to say it, is a little bit insane for that. Instead of falling back with people about to respawn, doubling down, using the secondary to be on the aggression there, did absolutely secure the plate, was absolutely worth it, and I do applaud the decision-making there. But also, if you're in solo queue, please do not do that. Please do not use your secondary as goalie to go forward, unless you are absolutely sure, like LilyBunn was, that you can get that goal, that you do trust your team to get the setup, because that was absolutely insane.
Yeah, most definitely just maximizing the abilities there, and just the play, and you saw that again, LilyBunn using the flip there as well, trying to get the barrier, but it gets defended nicely from the side of EKC, but Scyther 12 with that hotshot shotgun. Yeah, there's not really a lot he can do on the defensive end, and almost the goal going in, but no one able to touch the core there in time, as EKC are still holding on to this point, and they're very much looking to take Scyther 12 out of this game as a whole, and they will get a power play for EKC. No!
But power play doesn't go their way. Liari with a fantastic Luna drive-by there, just touching the core. Beautiful to see. Every time someone pulls off a Luna play like that, it just is so nice to see. It's surprisingly difficult at times to pull it off, but when it's done and executed so perfectly like that, it's almost as great as NXZD killing the Vice there with a great dash punch. Beautiful in its simplicity. Scyther 12 also taking a lot of damage here. The Luna ult does come out, but the strike ward is won by Slime on the top side, so it doesn't really matter. The barrier goes down. And now LilyBunn is back, but Scyther 12 is back off the field, and LilyBunn is trying to get the clear here. Kitsuna unfortunately misses the angle at the bottom, but the flurry comes out with the core flip as well. Not quite. The goal is defended with the supernova, and we're getting a lot of things used, but in the end, it's Soren that picks up the goal with the aggressive goalie there.
Yeah, really good offense from the side of EKC. BUNN was holding on for so long, but even if you get that last clear out, the HP bars again were just so low, it was just going to be a repeat of another power play into an attack. So I feel like that point was a little bit inevitable, but we will see how it's going to pan out now as both sides are down one barrier and both are trying to win the second set and get themselves another set ahead in this game.
Yeah, we have this corner play as well. NXD trying to keep it in there with Kitsuna trying as well to feed it to NXD, but it's actually not going to pan out. Scyther12 and Yari really playing well on diffusing these positions, but NXD, really nice ability usage, does get the barrier with Firewall Sentry as well, helping out the slime. Pass back from Yari to NXD, does get the clear in the end with LilyBunn up the top side, as well as almost killing Kitsuna, but not quite, forces out the core flip. The Vice ult is forced out there. Glitch Pop up at the top, though. Soren on fire, getting 2 goals there. Just really playing this IME to a T, and this is the thing I was talking about last time, where if Soren on this IME is enabled to play far forward, to use the abilities offensively, then this is what happens. Soren teleports in front of you, uses his entire kit, and you just kind of cry because you're in a 1v3 situation as the goalie, and there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, very much so. And they do get rewarded with another draft here. Bulk Up finding its way onto NXCD. Great awakening pickup for him there, because not only does it help you with KO, it also gives you that little bit of HP to be working with for survivability. As a team player pickup, also can do wonders for LilyBunn. Hotshot Team Breaker, team player, need Team Breaker. It just has so much speed to it if you find the proper clears that it's very easy to swap the side back to the attack back to offense, which can do so much for you. The missile prop also being denied off of Liari and going to Soren, which means Soren's going to be a little bit more lethal as well with all of his abilities, as he's been so proficient at finding KOs already.
Yeah, I think that's a really great draft from both sides. A lot of good pickups, and especially, I mean, if this will go to at least one more set, so that Spark pickup is really nice to see. If we can have Kitsuna getting a earlier pickup, then that is potentially 3 Sparks, maybe even 4 if we go the distance. I don't think we've seen any just yet. So really nice to play there, but also the flurry with the Firewall Sentry is a brutal combo, somehow diffused beautifully there, but in the end, Vice plays a little too far up, does get taken off, and it's a power play once again for EKC. Soren playing up as well, doesn't overstay, does play a little bit safe, isn't quite as insane, but it's still not going to matter in the end. Great feed from Kitsuna, gets it to NXCD, and of course, a Juliet in front of the goal is usually going to get the core through.
Yeah, most definitely, and I feel like this has slowly turned into the gameplay loop a little bit. EKC is getting more damage while still having a really solid core control, and they're just finding KOs, right? And they're playing off of these power plays, which makes it increasingly more difficult for the side of BUNN, because it turns into a situation of you needing to find the power play first, because in a deficit you are not really equipped to be dealing with a 3v2. Some characters can do better than others, but I think Vice, Luna and Trick are not necessarily the best at it, so it turns into kind of like an arms race of who's going to be able to find that KO first, and so far EKC has been doing that much more successfully and much more consistently.
Yeah, I feel like this time EKC is the one with a much more stable comp, whereas BUNN Bonanza are the ones with the volatile one, and it's really paying dividends there. It just feels so consistent now. The first set, little less, but this last set, going into this one as well, it just feels like NXCD is always getting the core every few seconds, getting something done, and it really feels like EKC has just put a lock on this game. They're really doing a lot with it, but I say that, LilyBunn does find a fantastic ultimate, getting 2 barriers, only losing 1 on the back end of the trade, and the bounce doesn't go the way of NXCD, unfortunately. Scyther12 hunting for a kill here on Soren, but Soren is buying a lot of time, just kind of walking around. Actually dodges the shotgun as well. Can they get the defense? The answer so far is yes. Kitsuna, though, will fall to a shotgun in the end. Was trying to bait it out, but this timing from Scyther was brutal. You basically couldn't strike it until it was in the goal, and the shotgun was already there.
Yeah, difficult to play out for EKC, as Soren was just down to stagger, which means he wasn't really able to help with that defense anymore. And if your goalie can't save the net, it becomes a lot more difficult, right? You don't want to be in those situations. So again, kind of goes into that whole kind of game plan of find the KO first and play off of that pressure. And looking at the current point, I was about to say EKC is doing a better job, but no, the first KO gets found with that specialized Deadeye Luna. That ultimate hurts so much. It's not a power play for BUNN's being played out. The attack, they're trying to get themselves up in a 3-way of offense there and cannot get it past Soren's defense, as Kitsuna is now back on the field and the attack is being built for EKC.
Yeah, a lot of damage as well from the Firewall Sentry, and it's actually just going to coast in. Unfortunately, Lilybun just a little bit too slowed by that Firewall Sentry, just those hits just continuously keeping this Vice from getting to the core, and you just have to watch it go in at that point. If you don't have your secondary to teleport to it, as Vice, there's basically nothing you can do, and it's going to be the Juno with that first pick getting either strength or agility. Strength is a lot of core speed, agility is a lot of control. We're going to go with the Spark of Strength. I think that's a great pickup, also denies it from just a one-off pickup later on, because a lot of people, like, falls to Luna last in the draft. You're pretty happy with the Spark of Strength.
Yeah, you're extremely happy, especially if you're already being so good at finding these KOs. Just giving your entire team more power to be working with is definitely very, very good. You get a twin drive as well for Soren, which enables him to be even more active up front, as he's been so efficient on that so far. And a prize fighter for NXCD means if you can get the snowball rolling at one point, there might not be a way to stop it, as BUNN can't really find anything, I feel like, that makes up for it. And a KO already found, and both barriers down. EKC trying to close this game off and not let it waste any more time in the second game.
Yeah, I might be looking at a Julie that has 182 power with pummelers, and I don't want to count Bun Bun Bonanza out, but that's pretty scary.
Most definitely.
We do have a lot of back and forth here, though. Barrier does go down. Lilybun does actually teleport back in time to get the reception there. The Luna ult doesn't get a barrier, unfortunately, for Liari. Vice ult also invested a lot of cooldowns, and at the end of it, the barrier's still standing. Scyther's pretty low on health. Meanwhile, EKC gets a barrier on the back end of the play. They're full on health. They're basically happy until Katsuna accidentally owned barriers with a bit of a fouled pass there, unfortunately. Doesn't get the perfect angle, but there's so many slimes as well. But that is going to be both brawlers trading, and that slightly in the long run favors Bun Bun Bonanza because of the lack of a prize fighter. It's a little better to trade one for when you don't have those stacks, but with the control that the Juno and the Aimi have, it can be difficult to get the defense. They do get the power play, so the core flip comes out from Katsuna, doesn't get the goal. The power chord from the Vice gets a clear. Liari trying to get a kill there with the core flip, doesn't actually get it, but Soren is very low on health. A very easy confirm here, potentially from the Jakar, but the glitch pop gets it up to the top power chord, misses. They're trying to get it through, pass to the slime, unfortunately, and Lilybun is not able to get down there with this insane core speed from the Juno. All of the strength with the hotshot is just so tough to contend with, especially in overtime.
Yeah, the tough is like a nice way to put it. It almost feels impossible, right? Because Vice doesn't really have a lot to just be a wall. She needs to use her abilities effectively. She has her ultimate maybe, but even that is realistically only a single hit. And if you look at how fast the score is going right now, the defense just feels so difficult to be executing here. BUNN definitely not giving up on this game yet, though, as they're trying to get the attack going. But another KO for NXCD, a second one, 3 prize fighter stacks, as Lilybun holds on to the defense. Now a beautiful secondary will hold on to it, even gets the barrier, gives the time for BUNN to go back on the field, but the setup is just so strong. Flip coming out, not finding the core, as BUNN back on the field completely. They need to find the goal soon, though, because Lilybun is about to be taken off the map.
Yeah, they're looking for it. They're trying to get it, but you can see the stress building up. The ability usage hasn't been perfect in the last few seconds. Scyther 12 does get the defense. The kill flip, though, connects with the glitch pop behind it. And Soren, the one to secure the last goal. And that is the beauty of this Soren Aimi pick. You see it so often, but so often teams are able to shut it down like we saw in Game 1. But when he's enabled by this team that was able to keep it so far forward, he just gets to ability rotate time and time again. Cyber swipe across the map, glitch pop, firewall sentry, just shut down the entire play, intercept cores, prevent it from getting to your side, and put so much forward pressure. A well-deserved MVP from Soren, although I think it's a little close because every member of EKC felt like they were pulling their weight so much in this game. Rocky first set, but after that it felt like EKC just locked in. They were ready for Game 3. They are ready for Gates of Obscura.
Yeah, they found all the awakenings they did. They found the damage that they needed, and you can see it in the numbers yourself. They found the KOs that they needed. NXCD finishing off that game with 218 power. You don't really see games that go above 200 power usually, and you saw it towards the end very much that Julie was just such a threat all around. And something else I want to point out is EKC, just like you mentioned as well, they're playing together so well. It's such a well-oiled machine, because if you look at the goal contributions, everyone did their job, right? Soren tying NXT with most goals for their team, but not a single player had less goal involvement than 6 out of the total of 10 goals that they have scored. So just really well organized on the offense and just finding themselves in so many beneficial situations.
Yeah, but that goal involvement also goes to show just how good the defense was of Bun Bun Bonanza, that there weren't really that many one-off goals. I think there were maybe 2 in the entire game that were one-off goals where only one person was on the thing. So well played to Bun Bun Bonanza for forcing them to that point where they needed to go to all of the extra efforts to involve Soren on those goalie plays that he had to play so far up. That was the point of their comp, and they executed it perfectly, but it does take a phenomenal team to force this explosive comp to go for so much extra effort instead of just putting it in here or there where the goalie isn't, because Lilybun played so well so many times, and when Lilybun was dead or forced out of position or the very occasional overextension, there was always a Scyther 12 or Liari in the goal that was ready to defend it. So don't want to put too much on EKC either, because both of the teams, as we've seen, tying it up 1-1, have been playing phenomenally. And going into Game 3, though, being on the win does favor EKC a little bit. A little bit of a switch there, I know, but the mental of EKC, I feel like, is so much recovered from being down a game to winning the next game, going into Game 3, I feel like is something that can't be looked down upon.
Yeah, most definitely. Momentum is such a huge thing, right? And having that win and carrying it over into this decider game now is going to help quite a bit as well. The only thing to mention is we're going on to Gates. And as opposed to Night Market and Atlab, I feel like Gates is just incredibly unique in the way he plays. So I'm also curious to see if there's maybe different draft approaches here, right? Different character priorities, because it's more difficult to make some of these picks work here. I personally believe that something like an Amy goalie for Soren, even though he's incredibly proficient on it, I'm not quite sure what on the efficiency on that on a Gates of Obscura. You do have an extra special start, which will help you a lot, and EKC do have a first pick here, but they do opt to just take away the Juno again, which again, great though, because that allows Soren to play his eject goalies without having to worry about playing into a Juno.
Yeah, and that is a big pickup, I think, that EKC discovered this game especially, or the series especially. Also, one thing so far in this series, I mean, it's only 2 games, but Juno 100% win rate was on Bun Bun's side, Bun Bun won. Was on EKC's side, EKC won. So potentially drawing conclusions there, statistically speaking, Juno's going to win again. So EKC believers, I think, are in a pretty good spot. But we're also going with Luna Rasmus, which has a lot of potential to do a lot of damage. Gates, not as much of a damage map, but can be surprisingly, especially trying to force through those corners. You have the AoE of the Whiplash, the Pendulum Swing, and of course the Crater Maker. That can do a lot of damage to a team that's clumped up altogether.
Yeah, especially if that Crater Maker is available to you so much with that extra special. And the Rasmus with Might of the Colossus is obviously a great pickup as well, because Rasmus loves himself some size and adds to that the damage that he can make. I feel like it's just so efficient. As the picks are coming through now, and that's a Julie pickup, I can see, obviously, NXT, an incredible player on that pick. A Dubu being picked up for the side of EKC. I'm honestly not certain where this is gonna go, because I'm not sure, does Soren play Dubu? I mean, it kind of has to if I'm looking at the team comps, right? And it's an incredibly valid pickup as well, because Lilybun has been so successful on that pick, has been doing so well on that pick as well. So taking it for yourself and saying, you know what, we're not giving you that comfort, can have so much value to itself as well. As the last pick for Bun Bun's going to be the Finny, so I feel like Bun Bun, again, just looking to play that KO gameplay.
Yeah. Is definitely going to be a lot. I mean, especially when you're looking at Luna and Finny with that extra special, and Rasmus with that might, which is most likely how it's going to go. There's so much power, so much damage available there. On the other side, I mean, Dubu with extra special is, of course, a menace. I don't think we're going to get to see the forward Dubu as much as I would like it. It is especially good on Gates Obscura with extra special. You get so much presence, you basically guarantee locks. But I think it is doubtful that we see Dubu Juliet forward with a Juno in the goal box. Much as I would like to see it, I think it's most likely going to be the Soren Dubu, which would still be pretty fun to see. Yeah,
I'm curious how it's gonna go, because you mentioned extra special as well. On a on a map like Gates, you find yourself in those corner pockets quite often, and Dubu actually has a surprising amount of KO pressure around there, right? If you could put a pauldron on him as well, together with that somersault and that Tofu Fortress, you can take out enemies that are not really paying attention to their positioning pretty consistently there. And not to mention as well, the extra special Tofu Fortress can just shut down the portal play as well if you just don't want to be dealing with it. So I do think it's a very valid pickup for Net. I just haven't seen Soren play it. This could be because I'm from EU and I just don't know the whole story, but I'm incredibly excited to see how he's going to be executing this pick here, and just overall how this is going to go, because I feel like this is the first time where both teams have seemingly conflicting game plans, whereas BUNN are still in that KO strategy, try to take out the enemy. Sure, you have core control aspects, but you have a Finny, you have a Luna, you can play for KOs a lot more consistently through stagger as well. While EKC has a much more controlled approach, right? Lockdown goalie, Juno midfield, Julie up front. Julie can get KOs, but those are usually just dash punches off the edge.
Yeah, usually. But you can always have some funky stuff happening. You know, especially with that Dubu you were talking about. Dubu can also do a surprising amount of damage, so even if he doesn't finish it, there is also a Katsuna, also a lot of slimes around the map. So there are so many surprising damage sources from the side of EKC, so I don't think it's going to be entirely one-sided. I think that both teams are going to have to really watch out for each other in this one. I do think that it does definitely favor BUNN Bonanza for the kill, at least the obvious kill. But it is one of those things, sometimes you lock in a damage comp, and then suddenly you're on core control and the enemy is on the damage for whatever reason, just because the way the draft goes, the way the players play. But we do see first barrier being taken here. EKC on a roll as per usual. They really like these first points, but we're going to see how it goes later. 1 point, one barrier taken on the other side. A lot of good strike wars though, and they're trying to rotate it around to this bottom corner. BUNN Bonanza actually losing control for a second, goes through the gate there, and we're going to have Liario losing the strike war to a slime. Unfortunately there, does happen, but you hate to see it. And it is stuck in this corner for so long. Eventually gets cleared out. The flurry actually invested as well. Great log and somersault from Soren, though, gets a clear. I didn't think it was going to be possible. And a dash punch here from NXED. So both teams trading, both teams with one barrier. But in the end, it's going to be the power play here that doesn't quite secure the barrier. Great plays here actually means that Luna's back on the field without anything too much happening, really.
Yeah, both teams trying to get this last slot, but it's just so much more difficult to do, especially with both of these goalies being really strong defensively, and another KO being found for the side of EKC. NXED finding that value, and finally finding that barrier as well, as Lilybon has to use the flip, and Katsuna just flipping it right through Scyther. Scyther not there in time to react to it, and EKC taking themselves a point lead in this game 3.
Yeah. Is kind of surprising. I mean, we saw a lot of kills coming from NXED. They're really finding it very, almost easy, making it look like, as he just takes consistently people off the board. The slime as well, forcing Lilybon into kind of a losing strike war, because if you strike late, it already hits the barrier. If you strike early, then it just hits the slime. That sends it right back into the barrier anyways. So, unfortunate there for the side of BUNN Bonanza. But again, we have seen EKC take first points before. We've seen it a lot. The Crater Maker, though, doesn't quite get the connection as well. Good defense there, the log and the slimes, but it's going to be the big finish that finishes the job there. Finally, BUNN Bonanza open up the goal. The core flip, though, is a little bit wide. Scyther not quite locked in on that. The card comes through. Death touch, the whiplash. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the Pendulum Swing that gets it through. I was going to say it's going to be a lot of damage on the Scyther and maybe looking like a kill, but this time not going to be picked up. And Scyther 12 basically saving his own life by scoring a goal. If that went on for even a few more seconds, I think he would have been dead.
Yeah, most definitely. The difficulty there was that Soren just didn't really have another clear angle than just trying to get it into Scyther 12, because if he hit it down, Liario was right there already, right? She was just going to be interrupting that core and grabbing it. So, excellent attack from the side of BUNN there, as they're immediately mounting another attack at one barrier, trying to get the second one, as Soren and Katsuna are doing a good job holding on to it, though. Going through the portal, that just swaps out the attack so fast as well, but both teams just responding to it so swiftly, as the attack is now on the side of BUNN, and the beautiful flip will get 2 KOs for NXED here. 3v1 power play. Soren feeling confident, walking up, but doesn't even need to help, as Katsuna just gets the goal in on his own.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great play there. NXED saving the core flip until Liari and Lilybon were so low. getting the double kill was amazing. And then Kitsuna on the bottom there, supporting the brawler, waited for the opportunity, took the goal, took the shot. Just nice play there from EKC. And Soren, even when he's not on the IME, he's still playing that sort of skirmishing style. He really loves to play forward. And every now and then, it does go a little wrong. Every now and then he does overstay. But most of the time, it's exactly like that, just putting so much pressure on the enemies that they're like, why is a Dubu on my side of the map? What's going on? He was the goalie. And then suddenly the goal is scored because you're paying too much attention to him, and it doesn't even matter whether or not he does anything. He is putting so much pressure on the opponents. And he's still on the defense right now for this. Does unfortunately lose out, Scyther12 finding a nice angle to get the barrier, but does pay a lot of HP for that opportunity. LilyBun playing up, kind of switching out. Really nice to see teams doing that. Of course, at the highest level, they do that a little more than often, but a little more than other teams will, but is still great to see that kind of team play coming out.
Yeah, most definitely. But the side of EKC having a bit of a tough time getting this last barrier off of them because BUNN is just rotating so efficiently on the defense, making sure that this barrier never is unattended. And NXCD now has a flip, will have to use it to take the barrier as well, but Scyther12 almost outplaying Soren there. And the blob on unfortunately grabs the core away from Soren's clear, sends it downwards, and Scyther12 with the pendulum swing will actually get the goal to put us into a 0.5 here.
Yeah, was a really unfortunate slime there, but it does happen sometimes. 0.5 is pretty nice to see going into game 3. 0.5 looking like a bit of a long one here. The endurance match, so to speak, as LilyBun is also playing super far up on this Fini, empowered by those mom boots. Of course, the classic quick spawn Fini, and the Dubu actually backfiring a little bit there, buying a lot of time. And just keeping the core in front of the net. The big finish not going to be enough to get it through, almost at the top, but not quite. Kitsuna trying to get it right. Is going to have to use the elusive against the Crater Maker there. Scyther12 very low on HP, but so is NXCD. Each team could kill the enemy brawler. Great intercept on the death touch, though, from the log from Soren. And there are 2 core flips on the side of the map in front of the goal, but it's going to be Scyther12's that goes off first. Goes for a risky shot up at the top near Soren, who did have the core flip, but I think it was just a little bit too far away, and it's going to be Scyther12 getting beaten up for the entire set, but still securing the set MVP, and going to be rewarded potentially with the heavy impact, the 1-2 punch. Lot of good options here.
Yeah, and what a smart play, by the way, from Scyther, noticing that Soren likes to go for those edge threats, and knowing that the somersault's going to come up, just positioning for it and punishing it almost immediately, gets rewarded with a set win. As the aerials find its way onto Scyther12, obviously helping so much with mobility for his Rasmus. On a map like this, it's so important to get around fast. It's Adrenaline Rush also on LilyBun is going to help a bit with that. KO with cooldowns, right? If you do get the power plays, it's going to help so much for LilyBun herself as well. Liari with the extra specialized training means these whammies are going to hurt a lot more. And Missile Prop Dubu also not to be underestimated. I feel like everyone in this draft walking away with something that they can be very happy with.
Yeah, is really nice, but honestly, I think I'm a little happier seeing that Adrenaline Rush falling to BUNN Bonanza if I'm on BUNN Bonanza's team, because, well, it is sort of the thing that empowers kill comps the most and allows you to use abilities kind of for free. But, I mean, EKC is out here still winning, not letting the kills happen, not letting the ad rush getting procced. So, if LilyBun cannot proc that ad rush, it kind of is a dead awakening. So, they're really going to have to step up the kill game here. They've gotten a couple here or there, but I think with the Crater Maker being so powerful, I think they're going to be able to pick up a little bit more, and I'm hopeful for BUNN Bonanza on that front.
Yeah, most definitely. But it's going to come down to essentially a lot of energy economy as well, right? That Crater Maker can do so much damage if it does find its target, but it is still an incredibly easy ability to evade unless you specifically combo for it, right? Which is a little bit more difficult to do, especially if the enemy is aware of the play. So we'll see if that value is going to be found, but as of right now, the value is going to be found is off of Kitsuna there, actually, with a KO on Scyther12. Scyther probably not even aware that he was in KO danger there, as the EKC are trying to get this point, this core up front, trying to get this point in, and they do in the end find the passing plays around Lily and Liari there, well executed to put themselves 2-0 up in the second set, and looking strong yet again, looking to take another set 3-0 if this keeps up.
Yeah, and it's beginning to look like it might be a set 5.5 game 3 angle here, as both teams firing back on each other. That time, though, looking squarely for EKC, getting another 2 kills there. Rasmus going off the board. NXCD saving the flip here. Might have to use it just to get the barrier. Lilybun's really good on the defense, but it is going to go down. And not even needing to invest the core flip at all. Kitsuna just finds a really nice angle between Liari and Lilybun.
Yeah, watching like Dubu missile prop feels like a guilty pleasure at times. Like just seeing that Tofu Fortress fly towards someone, and you just kind of know what's gonna happen, and it's just so difficult to be avoiding as well, because Scyther in that situation didn't really have a choice but to try to contest the core, otherwise you're just giving it for free. As EKC now though get rewarded with a set win. They do get fight or flight for Kitsuna, which is gonna help so much with again getting around, having that midfield control. Team player for Lilybun gonna help with again swapping the play so much more consistently and so much faster, so definitely a valuable pickup. As EKC, I mean, they're leaning into it now with the damage, right? Super Surge Dubu can go incredibly well or go incredibly wrong if you just miss the core, but you cannot deny the amount of damage that this somersault is going to do now. And again, another prize fighter for NXCD just means if these KOs are starting to come in for EKC, it gets increasingly more difficult for BUNN to play it out at this point.
Yeah. We do see the opportunity for a lot of damage coming out of this draft, but also on the other side, we do see that peak performance pick up on Scyther. So he's going to be a little faster, so he's able to dodge a little bit more, as well as the extra HP, of course, is going to mean that there is more of a chance to survive. But of course, if your half of your health bar gets erased by a Dubu somersault, not exactly a nice place to be in. Also not a nice place, this corner here with the slime as well. The triple take was nice to get it out of there for now. The Death Touch kind of fancy with it. Scyther 12 in the end getting it almost messed up, but does get it through in the end. Lilybun trying to get around to Liari to Scyther. In the end, they're going to go through the portal to get the play. The Strike Roar won by Lilybun there really nicely. The big finish, the Rocket Dash as well coming out. In the end, it is going to not be the clear. It is going to be Kitsuna on the bottom picking up that one bear. The triple take into the Death Touch into the Pendulum Swing is a beautiful setup there by BUNN to just kind of trip up Soren there. It's really hard to figure out where to clear it, what to do when it's just being bounced every which way.
I feel like that was just another situation where there just wasn't the correct answer. You're either hitting it into the triple take off of Lilybun, or you're hitting it into the Pendulum Swing on Scyther 12. At that point, you're just choosing who to give the goal to. So really well executed from the side of BUNN there, as the defense from Soren is not letting out any way, shape, or form though. Does hold on to one barrier there still, but a lot of abilities had to have been used to get that value out. And looking at like the game state and the levels overall, you do notice that Liari is having a bit of a tough time getting herself involved, and that is just the nature of Luna on a map like this, because if the core is in your hands, essentially, in your play, it's incredibly valuable, but the side of EKC are just playing so well around her that it gets difficult for her to get herself involved in any way to get attacks going.
Yeah, it is the sort of all or nothing of that Luna midfield. If you use the dash and you miss it, you're just kind of helpless there. Bears as well going down. EKC looking to take the goal here. We have the core football on NXCD, but not even necessary again this time. Every time I'm thinking, oh, I'll talk about NXCD, he has the core flip, he's going to be the star of the play, he's going to get up right in the face of the enemy goalie, he's going to just stand there, and then when the core gets close, core flip, put it in, easy peasy, 1-2, nothing to worry about. And then meanwhile on the other side, Kitsuna is just like 1v2ing and scoring the goal and just being an excellent Juno player. So I'm just going to start talking more about Kitsuna, I guess. But this Dubu wall as well, kind of saving NXCD, or saving Liari there from NXCD, acting like a wall there and preventing the edge of the map from going down. NXCD very low on health here, pass down to Liari Bun from Liari to Lilybun there. Triple take comes through, the big finish as well, sends it up to the top, and that's going to be Lilybun. Technically a solo goal, but very much back and forth. Kind of sad for Liari to not be included on the assist there for the experience, though.
Yeah, most definitely. But again, just a lot of like aggressive positional play, high risk, high reward, and Lilybun just finds those and executes on those so well, right? That as a goalie, you're not really used to being that far into the enemy half, but Lilybun's just making it work, and that's kind of what you need if you're going against such a lockdown goalie like a Dubu pick here as well, as both sides have not found a barrier yet. One is going to drop here though for NXCD, a second one's going to follow suit. EKC not letting up in any way here, as the missile prop for Fortress will come out as well to get the core stuck in that top half, but the clear out will be good enough. As Scyther 12 for instance now trying to set himself up for another barrier, but Soren gets the clears out. Liari with a nice dash will stop that almost immediately as well though. And BUNN are looking to close out the set as soon as they can, but they can't really get an angle on any of the barriers yet.
Yeah, I also love the caster curse there, saying no team get... Oh, and the triple take, unfortunately, isn't able to stop it. Goes right through. Nicely timed by NXCD on that one. But I love the caster curse earlier. You know, as soon as you talk about something, the opposite happens. There's no team has gotten a barrier instantly. NXCD, I don't know if he's listening in or whatever, but here's that. And then it's like, oh, right, my bad. Let me, you know, brawlers, you know, you gotta remind them sometimes that the core exists, that the objective isn't kills. So it's like, oh, right, my bad, let me get that. 2 barriers, no need to worry, I can go back to killing you. See, there we go. Take Scyther off the map. Triple take as well. Deals her little dribble on the bottom, buys a lot of time. But it's not looking good until LilyBun finds a great flip there. Big finish as well, playing super far up. Rasmus back on the field now. They get 1 barrier in the negative power play there, so really good to see. The slime as well coming out, though. Katsuna gets 1 barrier in trade. Liari, though, winning these strike wars, able to get a little bit, almost a kill onto Katsuna, but not quite just yet. The Crater Maker as well, a little bit too far back there, so Katsuna's able to run away. The big finish sets it up for a strike war from Scyther when Doobie doesn't have anything left. The Rocket Dash almost sends it in after the Pendulum. It was a great layering of abilities from both sides. The defense just wins it out a little bit more. Katsuna trying to use the slimes to get it around, and NXT trying to look for the kill onto Liari, especially with that core flip enabling so much more damage. That is a lot of damage and a pendulum swing onto Juliet, taking her off the board, as well as a prize fighter snack and a core flip. Massive economy gains there for the side of Bun Bun Bonanza. Just so much gain from 1 kill. The passing play back and forth is really nice, but the slimes interrupt it so nicely. Great defense from LilyBun, actually saves the goal when I thought it was surely lost off that core speed. Scyther 12 just evading nimbly out of the way. Able to just dodge to the side. NXT trying to send it through the big finish, but LilyBun isn't going to own goal off of that one. Crater Maker buys a lot of space. Liari stepping on the slime as well. Scyther 12 going for a dribble play off of the Dubu wall with the whiplash. Just executing such a beautiful play there. I mean, Rasmus may study that one because that was just excellent. The patience on the core flip to stagger the Dubu wall so there's a hole in it. Just really nice to see.
Excellently played out, and also again special shout out to LilyBun, who's been playing so well, being in that defensive positioning and just being so calm and collected, getting these cores out so consistently and making so much value out of that team player as well. Getting these attacks going almost immediately all the time back over to EKC is what enabled that goal in the end, as a hotshot has to be taken away from Juno going with it herself, which is a pretty strong damage pickup still for Juno, so I don't think she's necessarily upset with it. Another spark falling down to Liari. That is 2 sparks for her now, so cooldowns and damage. Just going to be a bit stronger on this Luna, and these abilities, they're starting to get a lot more scary. If extra specialized Luna wasn't enough already, just getting more sparks with power is definitely going to do the trick to make you be a bit worried about where these abilities are going to land.
Yeah, we also see Liari closing up the experience a little bit, level 7 now, so also getting a kill fantastically. The Rocket Dash whammy onto NXCD, nicely picked up, but Soren with the extra size pickup is able to defend so well, does take the big finish to finish off scoring or getting the barriers, but LilyBun is hanging back out, available for the pass from Liari. Kill from NXCD onto Scyther though. The dash from Liari though, Liari seeming to lock in now all the way up to level 9 from 7 to 9 in 1 point. Goes pretty hard there. Triple take though, tapping NXCD, a lot of damage set up for the Crater Maker, the big finish as well, so much core speed, but thankfully doesn't own barrier there. A bit dicey when you have that big finish in front of the Tofu Fortress, but we have the pendulums and we have the whammy as well. So many abilities being used in this corner. Somehow the barriers are still alive though. The Rocket Dash comes out, the Whiplash doesn't get used, and we're just rotating back and forth so many times. The core is red. We are in overtime. Finally, 1 goes down, 2 goes down. EKC taking a double barrier in fine fashion there. Katsuna getting up to NXCD, but the triple take interrupts. Scyther 12 missing the strike. Unfortunately, the big finish doesn't get to the core. Dribble up to the top with the Death Touch with the Whiplash down the bottom, sends it through. Scyther 12 locking in.
Yeah, impossible for Soren to defend there because you don't really have a lot of range to interrupt there. Sure, you do have a somersault that has a super surge attached to it, but if you miss that, it's just a goal for certain. And Scyther 12 just toying around with the core there in front of the net, controlling it so well and making it so impossible to defend. A great point from Bun Bun, and that puts him 2 goals away from not only taking a game, but taking a whole series and taking that 2nd seed. So they definitely do want to continue on with this momentum, but EKC here to stop it almost immediately. 2 barriers down, not finding the goal just yet, but LilyBun down to very low HP as well. Probably gonna be the next target of NXCD, trying to get this KO and power play going for the side of EKC. Cannot do it, and the HP is at this point a bit too high to be doing it, as all of that damage now goes onto NXED himself. He's trying to just stay alive while Katsuna and Soren are trying to get the core up, but they just cannot power play now in favor of BUNN.
And there we have the extended dash range on Dubu backfiring a little bit, goes a little bit too far out of the goal. Triple take, though, is really nice. Katsuna has control of the core. Now NXED is back online, but Scyther 12 does pick up the barrier, so it's once again barriers open on barriers gone on each side, goals open for both teams. Scyther 12 very close to the core flip as well. Big Finish keeps it away from NXED, gets the hit stun as well, so we can't really do too much about that. Red going across is the core, just from a strike from Lilybun here. The core flip from Scyther, gets it, uses it, scores the goal. And BUNN Bonanza looking to end this before we even get to set 5, 1 goal away.
They do not want to be taking the risk of another Awakening draft. They do want to just close it out here, and they have every tool to do so. They do have 2 points where they could potentially mess up, but obviously they do want to try to avoid that in the first place. Flip coming out from Liari there as she's trying to stay alive here, but again, the offense is just not letting up from both of these teams here. No barrier dropped yet. Maybe I cursed it. We'll see how it's going to pan out as the ultimate from Luna is going to come out, find a lot of damage, but a dash punch from NXED will actually find its target there. Power play now for EKC. They're trying to get that core into the enemy half, and they had such a hard time doing it. Find one barrier. Do they find a second one? Yes. Core going back down to Soren. They do try to now get this goal in as well. Liari back on the field, but incredibly low. So is NXED though. So again, death KO surely to happen soon, as no team finds it, but no, Liari finds it, and now BUNN with the power play to maybe close off the series.
Yeah, but they also lose one as well. Liari is down. The Big Finish slows it down a little bit, and Scyther gets the defense. NXED is now on the field, and we're having red cores from Pendulum swings now as well. The pass up to NXED, bold choice, but does actually get the successful clear. And we have the core going through the portal. Katsuna taking so much damage. These Crater Makers in this low energy match are so brutal to go up against. Everyone's used their core flips or their dodges already, so there's so much damage to be had from just one button there. Not even to mention if you get hit by the triple take before, it's basically a death sentence just on its own. And we have the Whiplash trying to get it up to the top here. The core is being passed around yet again. Lilybun making good use of this team player core speed as well. Katsuna with the cell pass is really nice. Liari picking up on that to do a lot of damage. But we have the core again rotated to this bottom side, but not in just yet. It's happened so many times, and BUNN Bonanza is just defending so well against it. The log is used preemptively, but it doesn't get too much. It just gets in the way of the play. But Liari as well can't get it through, and Soren's just so good on this defense that NXED gets core flip again and then sends it through. And it feels, I don't know how many core flips were lost and gained in that point alone, but it feels like a lot.
They were definitely a lot being used there. BUNN playing a triple defense there, just making it so difficult to get through as they had an open goal, and in the end it wasn't enough. The counterplay strategy didn't necessarily pan out as they wanted to, as now a power play is going again though for the side of BUNN. Never mind, Soren with Dubu, the KO character, apparently gets the KO on Liari, and unfortunately the card trick will take the barrier off of Lilybun there, as well as now power play for EKC and only one barrier to take another KO for NXED. EKC are feeling it right now.
That they are. They're doing really well, but there is no more dash on, or no more evade on this Dubu, and the barrier is still standing. So Scyther 12 back on the field, able to push forward with that Whiplash. Liari as well, waiting to get the Crater Maker just to execute this Dubu. I mean, he does have pauldrons and he is in the goalie box. Is going to lose one barrier though, and Big Finish is going to keep this other barrier on the other side for BUNN Bonanza alive. Crater Maker comes out, but not before Scyther is already dead, so Soren takes a little bit of damage, but so much more damage is given over to BUNN Bonanza, just saying, oh, you want to trade damage? Yeah, we can do that. Kills 2 members of the enemy team, scores the goal with all members assisting, and now it's on 0.5, and BUNN Bonanza looking really nice for a little while, had Juliet on 0 prize fighter stacks, were 2 goals to 0, and now it's 2-2, and Juliet has 2 prize fighter stacks. And you have a little bit of an edge in the energy, but not when your Luna dies like that. Unfortunately, NXED with a great pickup find on this greedy Luna dash. Every now and then you get a little too close to the edge. That's not going to fly against NXED on this one. He is way too good at finding those.
Yeah, very much so. And EKC, they're trying to get this into a set 5 here. They're not trying to waste any more time here either, as a lot of damage is again being found. Lilybond down to stagger. Liari basically dead as well, and soon to be taken out. Scyther 12, the only one on the side of BUNN with an HP bar to really be working with, but that doesn't stop him from taking a barrier. They almost get a second one there as well. Liari just barely out of reach there, and the KO confirm not coming through, as Liari still holds on to her life here. As one barrier still to be taken and a KO found in favor of BUNN. This is a power play you want to be working with. This is your chance to take the series and to take this game. Can you do it though? Because Soren and Kitsuna do such a good job defensively here.
Yeah, and the Dubu wall also buys so much time. The rocket dash comes out, but is defended so nicely in the end. Scyther 12 is going to go straight through the Dubu though. The Crater Maker is going to send it, the core, and the Dubu into the goal to secure the match. Well played by BUNN Bonanza. I just want to highlight Liari's last 2 ults were so clutch there. The one, we're not going to have replays unfortunately today, but the last ult, of course, ulted the core, ulted the Dubu. But before that, rewinding, 20 or so seconds, NXCD used the flurry on Luna and basically stunned himself, kept himself from using the evade. So Liari noticed that, and then set up the ult just to execute NXCD because there's no way that he can evade while he's flurrying, and just sends him off the map, saves her own life, and sets NXCD off the map to allow for that entire play and that setup to happen. NXCD only is able to participate later on, and by then it's too far gone. BUNN Bonanza, just really well played there.
Yeah, incredibly well played. And with that, they are obviously deserving of this second seed as well. They do find the series win. Again, just like looking at the KOs, right? EKC played their game plan. They found a lot of KOs, but they just couldn't find it in the end. Even though that second spurt of energy came up towards the end of that last set, it ended up not being enough, and BUNN had all of that persistence and all of that power to take the series. Obviously, both of these teams still, again, like they're starting in upper brackets. They're starting in a really good position, but it does help going into playoffs with a series win on the playoffs map pool already.
Yeah, big mental boost there. I mean, the tiebreaker is great for practice, but winning in that practice, like you're saying, is so nice mentally, just to be able to say, yeah, we can win, we can do it, we can do it against a good team, because of course it's a second place tie. So, I mean, all the teams in NASL are pretty good, but the second place especially, locked neck and neck throughout the season, able to get to this point for the tiebreaker. You know that they're a good team, so having that ability to say we can win against a top team in a top league is phenomenal, to say the least. But, like you're saying, EKC, also a tied second place team, also really good, so I don't think they feel too bad about this. I mean, of course, it's not great not getting the second pick, potentially being in the crosshairs of Hug for when the decision comes through on that, but it is going to be pretty nice to still have that playoffs locked. Maybe they decided that, we're not going to take this as seriously, maybe we're going to try some new things out, maybe we're going to put Soren on the Dubu to try that out, see how it performs here. So it is also an opportunity for experimentation there. And all around, I'd say that I'm very satisfied with this game and being able to watch it. I think it was really good, very back and forth, and just some excellent team play. So, good to see.
Yeah, a great start to just get a glimpse of what's going to happen in playoffs as well. And obviously, a lot more matchups are going to be happening in that regard as well. And we'll see how those are going to pan out. I do believe that was the only game that we're showing today. We do have another tiebreaker game tomorrow, I believe, between RTF and Sundubu, so we'll see how that's going to go. But I feel like it's going to wrap it up for us too. Hey, Jenny, any last comments to how today went?
It was great casting with you. As always, thank you to the producers and the teams for giving us a great game and a great stream and putting us on here. So thank you all very much as well in the chat. It's always great to see y'all there. Have a good day. See y'all in the future and look forward to more NASL. See y'all around.